Hello everyone. So I would love to share today about the 4 elements of spirit. We actually know them, but we don't call them by these names, right? These symbolic names. And the 4 elements, I mean fire, earth, air, and water. So in the path of healing, so these 4 elements, how do they come together in a holistic and integrated and full healing, a complete healing, because we need all of them. Of course, we can heal through one of them. Sometimes we just need one of them, but usually and the deepest healing comes from this wholeness, the 4 elements, and our intuition, of course, that tells us when we need one or another, or both, or all of them at the same time. So the fire element, we know it as the willpower, strength, positivity, joy. So I'm focusing on joy. I'm focusing on the positive things that are right now in my life. I am choosing. That's my will, right? I exercise my will. I choose. You feel the power in that. It's a kind of power, the power of fire. I choose where to put my attention and to nurture that. But there's a fine line where sometimes that becomes a denial because we feel something in our bodies calling for our attention, an illness or anxiety, any kind of symptom that feels misaligned, that we know there's something there calling for us, and we know there's something misaligned, but we just don't want to see it. So it becomes denial, the fire. Oh no, I'm just focusing on the positive. So then we need the path of water, and water is allowing. It's the power of love, and it's the most healing element. And you could say it's where healing is. The source of healing is love, but it's not love alone. We need all elements because they're not separate. They are all part of our spirit or consciousness or divinity, or just both our integrated being, both human and divine. So the water allows. It doesn't fight anything. It doesn't avoid anything. It just flows with what's coming up and allows and welcomes everything and meets tenderly that which is here. So, but we need to develop the capacity, right, to hold ourselves, to be kind and tender with ourselves. It's like a muscle, right? We could say that. We usually see fire as the muscle or the power, but love is also our other power. The power of the feminine. The power of the masculine feels more like fire. I am choosing. I am, just feels more like an action, like outward. And then love is more inward and feminine, like I am allowing. And it's a deeper kind of power, a different kind, because then you see when you let the feeling come up and it feels overwhelming, then in that moment you see something's also here present, and it's not overwhelmed. It is holding overwhelmed, and this holding and this gentle, loving meeting transmutes the overwhelm. The overwhelm starts dissolving. That's why this element is the most considered the most healing, as the main healing one. And then sometimes there's trauma. There's not just something that happens right now, and it's not so, doesn't come from the past, but it happened now. Someone, you argue with someone, and you have something that has triggered you, an attitude from someone, a word, someone said something to you, and touch something, and then you can meet that, allow that, and use the other two elements, the air and earth. Here we go. So, but if it's not, I was saying, if it's something that is deeper, like you have an iceberg here, right? And you see this little thing, this little part of the iceberg, but there's more down the water, right? That's how trauma functions, actually. There's so much in the body. So we need to go bit by bit. Just dip ourselves, dip our toes, and then come back. And then we go the whole leg, and then we come back, right? And until our hips, and then we get out of the water. And each time we go deeper and deeper in order to meet all that chunk of ice, right? All that chunk of actually consciousness. If we see consciousness as an ocean of water, there are these icebergs. We call them ego, we call them identities, we call them beliefs, right? But they're very innocent. They are water. They are consciousness. Solidify, right? That's a power of consciousness. To identify, it's actually a power, and it serves consciousness to embody, to have a form, have a shape, and to experience itself in this magical realm of forms and shapes. And it's so sacred, right? Ego is sacred, but you'll never hear that, and I mean, that's very rare in the spiritual communities. Ego is sacred, and when you meet it, you find out that it is liquid water, because that meeting comes from warm love, from the warm aspect of spirit love, and that love melts this ice and returns it to its liquid state, relaxed state, aligned nature. So we bring then, when there's trauma and there's a lot to process, we just meet what we can. Lovingly, we allow in that moment as much as we can, but we use the earth element. We ground, right? We start, okay, I'm going to look around. Okay, there's some things in my house. What is beautiful in this moment? Oh, I love that painting. And we try to ground, right? My breath, until the system is more stable and we can hold ourselves more, and there's more capacity to be present with the overwhelm or the feeling that's coming up, whatever emotion is coming up. So the earth regulates the system, soothes the system. Yeah, and you can use fire too. The fire, which is joy and will. You can say, you got this. You can do this. I am with you. You as Divine Mother, you as consciousness, are with you as your humanity. I am with you. I'm not leaving you alone. You've got all my support. You can tell all these things that can help you, can help your whole humanity stabilize and calm down and be able to express and take the energy bit by bit, take it out, release all that has been repressed. When there's trauma, there is repression, and it's good function. It's actually a mechanism that helps us cope with it. In that moment, the moment that the trauma was formed, that mechanism of suppressing it helped us in that moment, that we didn't have any help, anyone. Usually with trauma, we are alone, and it happens fast and without our permission. Right, these three things. And so the earth element can help us ground in presence and in our body, both. feel our body inside, feel our breath. And some people cannot feel their breath because the trauma is related to the breathing. So we can feel our feet on the floor, touch the floor, right? Or we can lay down and just feel the ground. And ask Mother Earth to help us. Hug a tree, feel the sunshine on your skin, the wind. Just connect with the element of earth. And then air, the element of air brings clarity, is the element of truth, right? The element of love is more the heart. The element of fire and will and power is the plexus, the solar plexus. The love and the truth, right? And the first one is earth, right? Grounding. So with truth, we can bring clarity. We start channeling or dialoguing with the emotion that's coming up, or whatever is coming up. For example, the story is usually the first thing, right? The story, they don't love me, or they are so rude, they are aggressive, and they, right? And then we start to inquire, what does that mean about me? They don't love me. What does that mean about me? It means I don't love myself. I don't love myself, or I feel unlovable. I am unlovable is the belief, the deficiency story that is kind of projected, or that these people is touching here. And because we haven't healed, life keeps bringing circumstances and people that can help us see, like, hey, there's something here calling for you, something that needs attention, love, clarity, grounding, dissolving. It needs you, right? So it's like if we have a cut in our arm, every person who pats us in this arm, it will hurt. And we might think, such an asshole, we might think that way, and we usually do, but we don't see that we are wounded. And they might not have any intention to harm us, or they don't do it intentionally. Some might not. But whether they are doing it intentionally or not, what's important is I can heal myself. I can meet what needs to be met in myself. And this meeting is a healing. I cannot keep avoiding this. So if I use the fire in this case alone, I will be avoiding, like, okay, I choose to be positive, and I'm going to value myself because they don't value me. I value myself. But that's not healing, right? That's not the complete. It's a good mindset, but it doesn't reach all the depth of the wound. It doesn't heal what's underneath the surface. So that's why we need the 4 elements, right? Fire, earth, grounding, right? Fire is will, the power will, choice. I choose, I encourage myself. I focus on the positive, right? Strength, the strength of willpower. Then earth, grounded. Ground, I connect to my body. I connect to nature, to my breathing, to my feet, to feeling all the parts of my body, and to be very present with it. To connect with my surroundings, with all the air, the sun, or the trees, or the walls in my room. Just, I ground myself. And then air, I bring clarity. I dialogue with myself. I ask questions. What do you need? How do you need me to be with you? And sometimes you will hear directly from the wound. And for example, ask questions like, why are you sad? What makes you sad? Or what makes you angry? And if they say, if the emotions say, well, they don't love me, then do the boomerang, right? There are tools that you can learn, but it's a dialogue, a simple dialogue and questions to find clarity. The boomerang is, what does this mean about me? It means I am unlovable. Use the first person, right? I. What does this mean about me? That I am being disrespected, or I am not valued, or I am unlovable. Whatever it is, that's a belief or the deficiency story ingrained, right? In the feeling, in the emotion that's coming up, in the trigger. So, and then the water element is meeting with love, meeting that emotion, allowing it, not judgmentally, allowing it to be here and being tender. And saying, yes, when it wants to speak to you, yes, you're right. You're right. I hear you. I am with you. And when you join all of them, like water and air, you can dialogue in a very loving way with yourself, with your body. And the earth element is also the body will tell you with sensations. Like if you reverse anything that you're thinking when you get triggered, like for example, I'm not mad, and your body is angry, then your body will contract, will say, no, that's not true. I am freaking angry, right? I'm not afraid. Oh no, I am. Because your body will tell you. That's the wisdom of the body. It doesn't lie. It's very sincere, very open and transparent. So we have the 4 elements. Now, how to know which one we need each moment, every moment, or the moment we are experiencing a trigger or a trauma or PTSD or whatever it is, any symptom in the body, pain, whatever the symptom is tune into your wisdom, into your intuition. That's your GPS. And you can use, according to the moment, according to what's coming up, love or water to meet it. Okay, I'm here. And then you ground, and you are welcome here. You tell the whatever's coming up, you are fully welcome here. And then you ground in the earth element. If it's too much, it feels too much, you ground yourself and you take a deep breath and touch your hands, feel your feet on the ground, your butt on the chair. You just start tuning into the earth element. And go to the park if it's possible. If you want to intentionally work on any trigger and say, okay, I'm gonna go and do some inquiry and, with the 4 elements in the park. The park, the nature will help you a lot. So wherever it is, you can, if it's something really trivial, it's superficial, like a negative thought, like, oh wow, I should have done this and I couldn't do it, and oh my god, then you use the fire, right? Forget it. I'm learning, and I'm on the process of learning always, and making mistakes is okay because I'm learning from my mistakes. That's part of a journey, and I am very proud of myself for trying, even though I didn't know how. And thanks to this mistake, now I know. Thank you. And you thank yourself. Thank you for being brave and going for it, even though you didn't know. And I forgive myself for making mistakes. And I am proud of myself for learning. So that's more like fire and kind of love as well. being loving and kind to yourself and encouraging, right? That's what you need in that moment. It's not a trauma, it's not something deep. So just focus on the positive. So your intuition will tell you what you need moment to moment. And there's no manual, we're learning on the way. So just go for it, inquire, or meet yourself lovingly and encourage yourself. I got this, I can do this. And and just bring all the elements, get to know the elements, because they're part of ourselves. They're already they are intrinsic to our being, each element, and they all have their own medicine. And when we get this self mastery with the elements, with no need to call them fire, water, earth, and we don't need to use these labels. Just now that you know these 4 ways, and you know them as love, truth, that's more common, joy, right, or positivity, or will power, and peace, grounding of the earth. So you know them with different names. Go for it. And yeah, I encourage you to experiment, to be patient with yourself. And yeah, no hurry, just your own rhythm, at your own pace. Experiment. Okay. Please, if you have any question or want to share something about this information, share it. I would love to hear from you and to reply. Much love.